Have you ever played a game so good, so stylish, so satisfying that when you finally put the controller down, you ask yourself, where the hell has this game been? As soon as the game starts, you're in this sweaty, dusty saloon. Some old dude named Greaves is telling stories that sound like they came straight out of a dime novel, and suddenly you're living those stories. Bullets flying, duels in slow motion, legends of the Wild West unfolding in front of your eyes, and you think to yourself, wait a second, why doesn't anyone talk about this game?
Billy looked at me and said, "About time, amigo. Grab a gun and get to the window."
Wait, so you were friends with Billy the Kid?
Yeah, sort of.
And that's what I'm diving into today, because this is the very first time that I played Call of Juarez Gunslinger, and it is one of the coolest first-person shooter experiences that I have ever had. And Westerns in video games have always been kind of a gamble. You either get these giant, massive open world games like Red Dead Redemption 2, where you can basically roleplay as a cowboy down to brushing your horse's mane, or you get these weird, janky experiments like Outlaws back in the 90s. But sometimes you really don't just want all-out realism. Sometimes you want to feel like Clint Eastwood in The Man with No Name, blasting through an entire saloon in just seconds. And that's exactly where Gunslinger nails it. It doesn't care about being realistic. It doesn't care about simulating a real cowboy's life. It's really about the fantasy of being a cowboy.
And the kid surrendered?
When he realized there was no getting out of there alive.
So they locked you up in Lincoln?
Indeed they did. Sentenced me to hang right along with the kid.
It's funny because at the time, a lot of people compared it to Gun from 2005. Remember that game? Activision made it before they blew up with Call of Duty. And that game had a similar vibe, not realistic, but fun as hell. Gunslinger feels like the spiritual successor to Gun in a way, but a little more stylish. And I think that's the important part. When you play it, you realize Techland wasn't trying to make a history lesson through a video game. They were making a Western arcade shooter, and that's honestly what we needed after Red Dead Redemption 1, which again is one of my favorite games of all time, but this kind of took it and it made it its own, because if anything tried to be similar to Red Dead Redemption after 2010, it was going to simply just be a copy and paste. But again, Call of Juarez gave us something completely different.
I just kept running, not knowing where the hell I was going. And that's when something miraculous happened. Like manna from heaven, I found the desiccated remains of what looked like an Apache warrior. The old weapon next to him supplied me with some much-needed ammunition.
After playing it now, they made magic. They made something that felt like Redemption, like they took every lesson from their earlier games, the good, the bad, and distilled it into this tight, focused, stylish little package. All right, so let's talk about the star of the show. This guy has slowly become one of my favorite narrators in a game, period.
Don't I know you, sir?
Don't believe so. I haven't been here in many years. Name's Silas Greaves.
Silas Greaves? The bounty hunter?
Used to be.
He's this old bounty hunter, washed up, bitter, maybe half drunk, telling his life story to strangers in a bar. And from the start, you realize something's a little off. His stories are insane. He's like, oh yeah, I fought Billy the Kid. I shot it out with Jesse James. I tracked down Butch Cassidy. But here's kind of like the genius in it. The game lets you play out his lies. When he exaggerates, the level changes. If he forgets a detail, the world literally rewinds.
Yep, the Apaches always appeared out of nowhere, and there never seemed to be an end to them.
Hold on, were you attacked by Apaches? What happened to the cowboys?
Did I say they were Apaches? I said Clanton's cowboys attacked me Apache style. I was in a pitched battle, but I was holding my own against an overwhelming enemy force.
Sometimes you're halfway through a mission and someone interrupts him and suddenly the whole path changes. It's the definition of an unreliable narrator, but done in a way that directly affects gameplay, and it makes every mission pretty unpredictable.
Mumbo Jumbo's right. Are you making this all up as you go?
A few details may be fuzzy, brother, but I am relating exactly what happened to me.
And I gotta say, I love when people in the bar react. Sometimes they call him out. Silas, that really doesn't sound right. And he'll backpedal and boom, the level shifts under your feet. That back and forth really does make the whole game feel alive, like you're sitting there in the saloon with him. And even now it is kind of the most creative storytelling mechanics in any shooter I've ever played. I don't think I've ever played a game where the narrator is changing a story or backpedaling and the level changes along with it. I truly do believe this is the first time I have ever experienced that.
I had a few ideas on how to get into that mine, but once I made my decision, I knew there was no turning back. So my first thought was to enter the nearest mine portal. I saw an entrance. Made sense.
What I love most about this mechanic is how it plays into Western folklore, because the Wild West wasn't really about facts, it was about stories, about legends that got bigger and bigger every time they were told. Like, did Billy the Kid actually kill 20 men, or was it more like 3? Does it really matter? The story said 20, so people believed it. It also gives the game replay value, because you never quite know what detail he'll twist next. It's like a tall tale come to life. And honestly, that gimmick alone could have carried the game, but then they went even further. All right, now let's talk about the gameplay itself, because if it was just a funny narrator, it could have been a cute little gimmick, but Gunslinger has legit fantastic gunplay that, in all honesty, I was not expecting at all. It's fast, it's smooth, and it's all about style. You rack up combos for headshots, you unlock skills like faster reloads or better dual wielding. It's basically an arcade FPS dressed up as a Western. And the duels, man, they're the heart of the game, hand hovering over your holster. And I'm not gonna lie, it took me a second to really figure this mechanic out, but the camera zooms in on your enemy's eyes. And when that heartbeat finally kicks in, it feels like a real standoff. And honestly, what I did like about this is the fact that you could kind of cheat in the game. You're supposed to wait for the enemy to make the move, or maybe just wait a second longer in the heartbeat. But as soon as you hear the heartbeat in the game, you can actually pull out your pistol first and start blasting away at him. And that's considered cheating or like dishonorable, which at the end of the level, you do get marked as it being dishonorable, but I didn't really care. I thought it was kind of fun to be like this kind of a scummy outlaw, but to the same token, it really didn't change the narration of the story at all, which I was kind of not happy about. I mean, it really didn't affect because I still loved the game, but I wish it would have been more of a mechanic within the way the story was told, rather than just this marking you get at the end of a level. After all of these years, I did wonder why this game was forgotten about. And I mean, this game came out in 2013 next to The Last of Us, Grand Theft Auto 5, BioShock Infinite. I mean, it was literally one of the best years in gaming history, and Gunslinger just didn't stand a chance, and it kind of slipped through those cracks a little bit. It also probably didn't help that the game was digital only at first, and it was pretty cheap. People assumed it was some budget throwaway game, and I do have to point out really quickly, I did beat this game in under 4 hours. Do kind of understand if people were not grasping at the bit to play this game, especially when you have games again like The Last of Us, Grand Theft Auto 5, and BioShock that were released. But 12 years later, I honestly think that this game holds up perfectly well. I got this game for like $3 on Steam, and the narration is still clever.
Jesse James? The greatest outlaw who ever lived?
Jesse and his kin rode with Quantrill when he raided Lawrence, Kansas, and killed near 200 people, boy.
Nothing great about that.
And from there, him and his brother went on to rob banks and trains from Kansas to Missouri.
Which is why there was such a rich bounty on their heads. 40 grand for both of them, dead or alive. That's one hell of a payday.
The whole game has this confidence, this style that most shooters today still don't even have or even try to have. And I think it feels fresher now because there are so many games released right now, such as when we have Ghost of Yotei coming out, we have Borderlands 4, we have Hollow Knight Silksong, we have the new Dying Light game. All these games are 30, 40 hours long, and they're coming out and releasing in like a 3-week period, which is just insane. So to give myself a little bit of a break between these longer games, Gunslinger was absolutely perfect to kind of break that void up a little bit. At the end of the day, Call of Juarez Gunslinger is more than just this forgotten first-person shooter. It's a reminder that you don't have to have a massive budget or, again, a 200-hour campaign to make something unforgettable. It's short, it's focused, it's stylish, and it deserves to be remembered alongside the best Western games ever created. So those are my thoughts on Gunslinger. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, but what are your thoughts on the series? Do you think it needs a complete revamp, a remaster? Do you want to see a whole new line of games in this series, or do you think it deserves to be kind of left in the past? But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next one, peace out.